Welcome to this REstarts Festival session, brought to you in association by the FSB. I'm Dave Sharp, and as you can see, I've come out of my office and I'm here in the Spotlight streaming studio here in Coventry, in the heart of the West Midlands. And the reason I'm here is because I'm in conversation with Neil Sayer, the Managing Director of Istead AV. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Neil.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you, that was my little moment.
Amazing. I mean, for people like you, Neil, who are normally in the shadows and lurking behind the black curtains, wearing the black, to have your chance, that moment to shine in the spotlight on stage, that must have been brilliant, wasn't it?
I need that every time I appear on any stage. As you're right, I don't normally do this. I'm normally with our team behind the scenes, making people like yourself look magical. But I've got this stage, so let's use it and let's have a bit of fun with it. So, yeah, sparkles on my rider now from now on. Why not?
Fantastic. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about the studio as we go on. You mentioned there that, you know, people like me are out there taking all the applause, but I'm very mindful, and having been in the events industry now for 20 years, of all of the hard work, not just to people like yourself, but the technicians, the crew that are often there from sort of 6 in the morning till 4 the following morning. And the amount of great work that you do, and our industry has been through enough lately. So let's take us back. We were merrily going along. You and I have worked together. I've worked as your Master of Ceremonies, event host in the past. We were merrily going along. March the 23rd, lockdown.
Yeah, difficult time. So we were flying high. I think March was probably one of our best Marches in many, many, many years. We just did a massive event at the Rico Arena for citizen housing. 1,000 people in the room. There's a little bit of chat about this new COVID thing coming. Well, we'll be all right. We were flying, absolutely flying. Then COVID hit, and what a kick that really was. You know, our industry overnight pretty much closed down. Very difficult. Troubling as a small business owner. You know, I'm employing people. It was really challenging, and you know, we could talk about the ins and outs of how that's affected us all. But at that moment in time, I think we just thought, we'll get through this. This is only for a couple of weeks, isn't it? And, you know, the phone was ringing red hot with cancellations. And it reminded us a little bit of recession, 2008, 2009, when lots and lots of cancellations and very difficult time. But we just sort of thought, well, you know, we had April, June, May, June, July events were being postponed to September because it'll be all right by September, won't it? And it was suddenly realised, actually, this might be a bit longer than we thought. But yeah, we literally, all our events on that day cancelled indefinitely or moved to 6 months' time. What do we do? How do we survive this? And it was very difficult for all of us in the whole industry. There are so many people in this events industry who are being affected by this scenario and, you know, we've managed to adapt in a way, but it's unbelievable, really, how this has happened and when does this end? You know, we'll come into that. Difficult time for us all.
Yeah, it was the uncertainty as well. I know I was busy as well, like you. I was doing a lot of awards, conferences, parties, charity dinners, that sort of thing. And gradually, people took it upon themselves to cancel. Normally, the client, but sometimes the venues, as people were starting to get a little bit twitching, maybe they should close down. And then, as you say, it just suddenly stopped. And not long after that, you gave me a call, and which was lovely. I mean, we should all stick together in this industry. I know we all do. And that was a real boost to me because I'd actually had a bad dose of coronavirus in March, so I wouldn't have been able to work anyway. And getting a call from anybody was great, but getting someone in the industry saying, how are you? How's it going? That made a massive difference to me. But you rang me and you were upset yourself, weren't you?
I was. I mean, I've made a real point over these times to keep suppliers and people I know like yourself on the end of the phone because we've all been through it. And, you know, I was having a really difficult time. You know, we've had to let people go. You know, we've reduced our team by a third, which is horrible. But we had to do it to survive this. And, you know, people I know their businesses are struggling, if not closing down. And it's a challenge for everybody. But I think we have to stick together. The events industry is quite an incestuous industry. We all know each other. Do you know, I've worked with him and we all know each other. And I think I've made a point of calling you. How are you doing, Dave? I've got other suppliers who give us various solutions throughout the year. how are you getting on? And I think we've got to be closer together than we ever have. I've got other AV companies that, competitors are they? They are, but you know, I'm calling them saying, how are you getting on? What are you doing? And they're all going through it. And I think we've got to help each other out. That's quite important for me.
So if I take us back to when you called me, we were at a standstill. We didn't know what to do. We couldn't even go out. We were told to stay at home and we hoped that it would pass. But you and I talked and said, do you know what? If you look at what is predicted, we may have a little bit of a lull. We may have a summer, we may not. And then it may well get bad again in the autumn. And here we are. And we look like we're back to where we started. When you said you had to let people go, I mean, obviously that is the hardest thing in the world. How did they take that? Because where do they go when you let people go?
Yeah, that's right. So we've been very honest. We're a small business. I've shown all the team the figures. This is where we're at. And, you know, it wasn't hard to show that's where the money is now. With no work, that money goes. And I said, that's where we are. We have to try and find a way. And unfortunately, we've got to cut our costs, and they all got it. You know, it's horrible. You know, one of the guys who just bought a new car the week before, he's got to pay that out over many years. And I just said, I'm sorry. And he said, I understand. I get it. Now, you know, they've all got new jobs, which is thankful. A lot of them are in Amazon and Tesco, you know, good for them. Good for the big boys as well. I've got lots of people that we need to employ. And it was difficult, but, you know, we had to cut the staff down. Those who remained understood, we've had to take salary cuts as well to get through this. You know, our world is now very different, but as a small business owner, I've got to be honest and open with all these people because they've got families, you know, and I'm not riding up here with my new Mercedes and all that thing. Yeah, all those times have gone. We were doing really, really well. And the guys, the team, you know, were paid quite handsomely and did some good work and they understood it. But now we've got to change and, you know, our world has changed and difficult decisions. But, you know, again, I keep saying to them, we've got to make these difficult decisions. We're a smaller team now. We'll get through this. We will get through this. And we found a way around it. And I'm more confident now than ever I've been. But horrible, horrible time to make people redundant and, you know, affecting people's lives. But
and obviously you've shone a light on those people, the technicians, the crew, all of those different people. You managed to keep some. Must have been difficult to pick and choose, and people are wondering, well, why me and not that other person? But how were you in all of this?
Yeah, this is why I earn the big bucks, isn't it? I think that's how it works. So, you know, the boss and, you know, I remember one of our guys, they all went on furlough. You had no work for 3, 4 months, 5 months. So the furlough scheme kicked in. It was brilliant. You know, that was income from the government, which I was very, very thankful for. And, you know, the guys had no work and it was really sunny in May. It was fantastic, beautiful weather. So all the guys are in their garden doing whatever. And I was doing a bit of paint and all that stuff. And I remember when I spoke to one of the guys after, they said, oh, you must be loving all this time off, Neil. God, if only you knew, you know, I'm worried about you. We're paying your mortgage. I'm doing the same. Difficult. So I was really struggling with it. And, you know, you just think, you know, I've got to make this work. How do I make this work when there is no income at all? And we've got rent, rates, this, that's still coming out of the bank account every month. Now, I was very thankful for the government support. I really was. But I just got to the point of I need to do something rather than just wait, which is why we've adapted it. But yeah, I really struggled at a time. I sort of went through a time of how are we going to get through this? And then I had a little moment of let's do something. Let's just do something. Keep ourselves busy. The studio that we're in, we'll talk about in a second. And I suddenly became a bit more buoyant than I was. And as the months are going on, we're not out of this woods for a long stretch, but I just think I'm trying to be positive for the people around me. We're doing some fantastic stuff like today. This is great. You know, we could have just said, oh, I've given up, this is hard work. We went through that. I said, we've got to start thinking positively. Let's build this up. And I think the team around me get it. We get it. And we're quite buoyant, more buoyant than we were. If you spoke to me in April like we were, difficult time. Did
you get any support at all? Apart from, I mean, obviously you talked about the financial support. Was there any other avenues for you to follow?
To be honest, all I've done is spoke to the likes of you and people in my industry to know that we're all going through the same. It was helpful because, you know, if we were not a good company and it's our own downfall, then I deserve everything I'm getting. But when none of this is our fault, and you speak to yourself, you speak to Claire, another lady I know, and event managers, we've all got no work. And you think, okay, this isn't just us. we've all got these problems. We're all making people redundant. Some companies are closing down and we're still here. So as I said to in a team meeting the other day, I said, we've got to be thankful we're here. And actually our projections are we can be here till September next year with nothing really changing. That's got to be a good thing. Now, yes, we're all on reduced salaries. Yes, we've lost people. It's been horrible. But actually, we can get through this. And I'm just trying to be positive best we can. Still have good and bad days. You know, there always running a small business anyway. But difficult times, I've had people around me to help. And, you know, we're getting through it.
So I remember you ringing me up, as you say, you got a little bit excited. You'd finished doing your shed up in the garden.
I did,
and, you said, do you know what I'm going to do? I've got all this space, and here we are in a big warehouse, which would normally just be packed full of kit. This kit, which I've stood on this stage in venues, and suddenly you just thought, you know what, I'm just going to build it here.
Build it and they will come. That's a little thing I've been spoken to me about. So I had this idea, and I spoke to you about it, and other people around me. I said, I've got this idea, and this was maybe a month during lockdown. I said, I can't just wait for more support from Rishi, as thankful as I am. How long is this going to go on for, this situation? So I said, I've got this idea of building a studio in our warehouse. Now, what you don't see, you see our nice stage set here. In March, this was racks and racks of AV kit, all marked up in a lovely situation. Pull it off the shelf, put it on a truck, and off we go to London, wherever it was. We moved all this kit out of our warehouse. Where it's gone, I don't know. It's hidden in all sorts of places, but it's somewhere. We obviously utilised some here, and we got the lights and stuff, but this has become our physical stage set. And I said, why don't we build a stage set in our warehouse? We can't go to London and do a show. Maybe people can come to us, stand on our stage, and make it look like a TV set. So, as you're probably seeing, it sort of has this TV feel. Because we'd all been using Zoom for all April, all May, Zoom. And I just thought, if you're a CEO talking to your staff and you've got your bookcase behind you, your dog's walking in, you're on mute, maybe there's a little space here to put a proper physical set, and it's all physical stuff. We chose not to go green screen. So we have a plasma screen, tapping it gently. We've got tables. Everything you see is a physical space so that a CEO or whoever can stand on this stage set, talk to their audience through the camera lens, but the audience might be on Zoom, Teams, webinars, lots and lots of things we can talk about. And I just thought, let's do it. And I also thought, while we've got it, why don't we do some Istead training sessions? Because, you know, we've got nothing else to do. Let's build this stage set. And we never let's learn how to use this technology as well, because it's a slightly different scenario than we're used to out and about. But we built it, and a couple of people said, well, how does that work? Why would people come to you? And I said, I just think it might just work. And I say, build it and they will come. It's been brilliant. I have to say, we've had lots of people. It's been a slow burner. People are learning this new world of these virtual events. There's lots of people using Zoom and Teams and whatever. But when they've come in and stood on here and go, oh, I get this. So we've had shows on Zoom to 200-300 people. And the comments have been, it's like watching a TV show. Tick. That's exactly what my idea was. Back in April, May time, we built it in late July. So what's that, 4 months now we've been going. And I'm so glad I did it because we've got income coming in now that's going to see us through till that new normal, that time where we can do an event again in London. You know that time we used to do that?
Well, I was going to mention, I remember vividly having done the Zoom myself and, you know, from the waist up I'm in my shirt and hi everybody, and I've got my virtual background going on, and down below I'm sitting in just my shorts and my flip-flops, and as you can see I'm a suit kind of guy, and I was getting a little bit frustrated, especially because it was a new suit, and I had a chance to wear it. And you invited me in, and we did a little bit of testing, didn't we? And we put a little bit of a show reel together, and it was just nice to get out. Dressed like I used to be, with a handheld mic, and okay, it's virtual, but there's something real about the virtual nature of it, isn't it, as you say?
And I think the initial concept and people of the reaction of the first shows were, I've got to see somebody from head to toe. Because all it's been is head and shoulders on Zoom for months. And all of a sudden, you see yourself on stage. You know, people, as you say, people that got them now wear trousers and shoes. And it was just very different straight away. The reaction has been, oh, this is brilliant, I understand now. And we're finding the engagement online on a Zoom call particularly is that it looks like a TV show. So it's been great.
Now, we're not here to promote your studio. Of course, it is available for hire. I would say that, wouldn't I? And you're not the only ones, of course. I mean, you've said you're the best in Coventry, haven't you? That's the kind of...
That's it, yeah.
So others have adapted as well. You did mention there a little bit about some other things you've done. I mean, I love the idea that... I mean, I've been in this industry a long, long time, and I still don't know how a lav mic connects to the bloke over there and what he does and why I sound okay. Yeah. So you put these little training packages together. It was a really innovative thing to do. No one else was doing that. Yeah,
and again, I think we've got this space. At the start of this, we didn't have much work. The guys were on furlough, and I thought, as the part-time furlough came in, I said, let's get in here. Let's do some seminars to give a bit back. And we've done a whole session on sound, as you say. I was teaching people how to use lapel mics and handheld mics, whatever. We've got a load more in the diary ready for it throughout the autumn, just to help people get through this. And when we do get back to this normal world, whatever it would be, let's give some of our expertise back. And I am all for helping people out. So we've had the other local companies have been here to see what we do. Come on in, let's share this knowledge. And yes, we're not the only company to have a studio. Why wouldn't you do that now? There's no other work out there till at least April. I mean, I think it'll be a lot later than that. But let's learn from each other. And I've had a couple of freelance guys here. They were running a show in another studio. Oh, you're doing it that way? Yeah, have a look. Whatever. I've got nothing to hide. If we can help people out, and if the events industry works together, I'm all for that.
Massive incentive for all of us to work together. I mean, the beauty of those instructional videos is because quite often as a master of ceremonies, the guest speakers will come to me and say, they're not always accomplished and, well, what do I do? How do I hold it here or there, or where do I look? And those sort of things. So they were really, really helpful, and people should perhaps think creatively. We're in the creative industry about how we not only get through this, but how we can help each other, help others, help our clients, help the people, the venues, and all those others with this. So, so we got the studio. As I say, it's not the only one. There's lots of others. You might be watching this thinking, OK, yes, his old hat, I'm already involved. Or you might be thinking, well, we could do that or something similar and adapt. You already saw the, what do you call these things? They're not thunder flashes, these sparks.
Pyrotechnics. Pyrotechnics. Got an array of them. We've had flames on a show. And again, that goes back to, you can't do that in your bedroom on a Zoom call.
No.
So to have sparkles, we've had flames, we've had a confetti cannon on one of the shows as well. Let's mix it up. Let's have a bit of fun. We're doing it on some of our training seminars as well. Let's do things that you can't do on your Zoom call, which is exactly what we're doing.
And that's the point, isn't it? We were getting a little bit zoomed out. It's hard work just looking at a screen all the time.
Absolutely.
And you don't get the engagement as much as you can. So you've already mentioned some special effects. If you're watching this now, I think creatively, what else could you do? Sound effects, that's the other one, isn't it?
The studio comes complete with its own sound effects. We've got one of these. And also one of these. It's good, isn't it? That was clever, wasn't it?
It's brilliant, I love it. And what it's done, because we were really feeling a bit fed up, weren't we? And we've started to smile again, and we've got a little bit creative. And then we were given some hope that maybe events would start in the summer, and we were held back. Maybe some outdoor events took place, but not really. And then there was the rule of 30, and then it was taken away from us again, and then we're back here.
Yeah. And I don't know how this is going to end. I really don't. As I say, our events move from April into the autumn. We're now in the autumn. It's not going to happen. They've been positioned now into January, February. They've also gone. They're now talking June, July. I personally think we can have, because when Boris says we can have groups over 30 in April, I think, is there confidence in the industry in April to hold an event with 100, 150, 200 people? I'm not sure, and I think that what might happen is come April, May time, there'll be a scattering of people testing it out. We all want to do it. We all want to get involved in it and back it. But I'm just a little bit nervous of the confidence people have to choose to run an event is the first thing. And will the delegates want to come? Will they be allowed to come by, the organisation say, no travel? So I think there might be a scattering April, May, June. I actually think, hopefully, that come autumn next year, a year from now, is when the industry's got a better chance of those normal events, whatever they are. I just think we're still 12 months away. I hope I'm wrong, but you know, I'm gearing up for really. Some of our event people have come in here said they're not looking to hold an event, a physical event, really, until autumn next year. So I think we're 12 months away.
Even then, we might still be adapting. I do an event every Christmas. I love it. It's down in London. There's 800 people, so 80 tables of 10. Yeah. It's a fantastic event for me to do. The audience loves it. It's a fundraiser as well. It's difficult to see without social distancing or other measures being put in how an event like that could take place, but we're all craving for it. I'm sure that there will be people who are nervous, so we'll come back to that. So in the meantime, if you're out there and you're watching this and you're thinking, well, how does it look? You put together a little 60-second film, haven't you, that just shows what's possible, because what we're trying to do, of course, is make sure that our audience engages in doing something similar or the same and starts to think about what they can do.
So absolutely. So we've done many events now over the last few months. You know, we've learnt this. We've had to learn it. You know, we did if you talked about Zoom back in January, I've sort of heard of it, and we did a few things on Skype, but it wasn't the norm. We're all using Zoom. There is platforms out there that we're all now quite au fait with using. So why can't you just come to our studio? And what's been happening is the CEO and various associations, award shows and all sorts, physically in our studio, but beam out to all the delegates who are still online. But we can, in the studio, although we're physically here, we can remote presenters in to dial in through Zoom and Teams, etc. So I've got a short video, it's about a minute long, of an event we did. It's a series of events. This was a 2-day event. We had 18 remote presenters each day, so 36 over 2 days, but the physical host was in here basically as a focal point for the show, but then they welcome in him throughout the world. So we just run the video, you get to see how an example of one of our shows.
This year is virtual, and we're broadcasting live over the next 2 days from our very own Engage Business Media studio.
And a huge welcome to the second day of the 6th Customer Engagement Transformation Conference. Where are you today? Obviously down under somewhere?
That's it, in Sydney.
In Sydney. Well, great. How's the weather in Zurich today? For me, and I think for all of my colleagues, I think the event has been just as brilliant as ever. We had great audience participation, and the people that have logged in over the last couple of days have been telling us how really different and great this was. And a huge thanks to everyone involved in organizing the event. You won't see them on the screen, you had to put up with me. But there's a number of technicians, and I've been working with these guys for quite a few years. I've got to know them. They really help me make my life easier, and hopefully they make the presentation come through very, very smoothly.
So, as I mentioned, we're not showing that to big you up, although well done you. The reason is because you probably saw in that video lots of people working on this set, and I guess that could be you out there. You might be somebody who's in the industry wondering where you're going to get your next job from, what you can do to help, and we're trying to give a little bit of hope and 1 or 2 tips as well. Neil, you put that together from scratch. What would you tell people now, those people who are worried about their jobs, because we're trying to support each other, worried about their mental health because of not knowing what's going to happen next? Tips?
It's so easy to say, but I mean, I'm quite a positive guy anyway. You know, we have a bit of fun. You know, in the events industry, it's very, very stressy. It's all I've known, and I think, you know, we work hard, we play hard. I've got to be enthusiastic about stuff. We have a lot of pressure, but I'm always quite optimistic about the world. And I've stayed optimistic. I mean, it's easy to say, but you've got to stay positive in this. You know, we will get through this. We will get through it. It will end. You know, we've been lucky. I've found a way around this. You know, there are things you can do. I'm sure there are. And, you know, people said, Neil, how's that going to work? I just felt it would. And, you know, again, with a small business owner, the challenges and everything you go through, you're thinking on your feet all the time. And I had an idea. I just did it. And I thought, I've got to do it. And if I don't try this and we fail, it's my and our own fault. I said, we've got to try. So I think of stuff you can do. You know, it's a different world we're in, but stay positive. Think of an avenue and just give it a go. Give it a go rather than going, well, it's not working, I've got to wait for more support. Have a go. Do something, challenge yourself. Have a go with it, and you never know, it might just work.
When you look ahead, we've clearly got some difficult times coming. We're talking about, as we are filming at this stage, more lockdowns. We're safe in here, aren't we? As far as we know, we're socially distant. You've got the hand sanitizer. There's a special sanitised room where a green room, I guess, a green sanitised room where people can meet. So we're very, very mindful of the health and safety of all the people that use this facility, aren't we? So, and you've got to think like that, haven't you? I mean, I've put my own mic on today. We don't, you know, there was a time when I'd have one of you guys helping me, but you just can't do that. So we've got to think cleverly and creatively and safely, because, as you say, we've got to get through this, all of us together. We're in this together.
Yeah, and I say we're 12 months more of this. I really do believe that, and I think, you know, you've got to try and adapt. We've got to live with this. You can't just wait for something to come your way, more government support. It's changed again, which is very helpful. Rishi, thank you. But that's going to end. It's going to drift off. And, you know, what have you done to adapt to this situation? Don't put it off. Start thinking about stuff now, because, you know, getting to the new year, you're going to be ready. So we've been through a massive learning curve in this studio. 25-year plus in the events world, out and about on a show with you, Dave. Any problem that comes our way, I solve it instantly. This world in the studio is very different. You know, we're relying on the internet, so we've had to have a backup internet. COVID, the things we're learning on that, every single thing we're doing, learning. The more we're doing, the more we're learning. And, you know, but we're now pretty much experts at doing this online stuff. If you said to me in January, we're doing an online event, how do we do that, Dave? Don't know. But now, you know, we're doing it twice, 3 times a week now. So challenge yourself, have a go at stuff, and keep busy and keep positive.
I think as well, I'd add to that, I would say reach out for support. Obviously, today has been put on by the Federation of Small Businesses, FSB. I've been a member since 2011, and the reason I joined then was because as a sole trader, I had nowhere to go in terms of support, all sorts of support, whether that be looking for employment law or chasing bills, debts. More recently, I got the FSB care package because I'd been so unwell with the coronavirus and still suffering now from what they call in long COVID, other issues as well. So I guess I would say reach out for support wherever that is, whether it's the FSB or other organisations that can just keep your health and well-being and hope alive. Neil, you've said be enthusiastic, be positive, but sometimes when you're sitting there and the phone's not ringing and all the venues are shut and you can't get back out there, and the supply chain is huge in the events industries, and we've talked about technicians and masters of ceremonies and that, but there's venues, caterers, all lighting people, you know, the ticket sellers, everybody's affected.
Massive. Yeah, it really is. And I worry about some people in our industry. People have gone already. I've put a feeler out. If we had an event in April, who's available? Lots of people have left the industry already because, you know, it's really, I think what I'm worried is, there's so many good people have left the industry already. Are there more to leave? I do hope not, but these are quality skilled people. And are they going to come back? That's the challenge, because as Dave said at the very start of this, we're the guys behind the scenes. We're working 20-hour days, is our normal world, staying in travel lodges, having 3 hours sleep. And you look back now going, actually, is that healthy? Is it good? And these people have left going, actually, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. That's my fear. These very, very talented people who have gone, now working for Amazon, whatever they're doing, will they come back to the industry? I haven't got the answer. I don't know. I truly hope when we get back to normality, the buzz of events keeps us going, doesn't it? You know this.
Absolutely.
There's nothing better than, although we do a 20-hour day, there is nothing better than at the end of that show, the big round of applause. Love it. And it'll keep us in the industry.
Fantastic. So there we have it. The REstarts Festival comes to an end. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to all of my guests today, everybody that's taken part, the panel members, all of the people who have supported the event, and especially the Federation of Small Businesses, the FSB. All I would say to you is stay safe, stay positive, stay in touch, and let's make sure our industry survives and thrives in the future. From me, Dave Sharp, thank you and good luck.